As much as I have been an advocate for a whole foods plant-based diet here, it will not save you. If you have a shocking relationship with food, if you have lots of limiting beliefs about yourself, about food, about your body, if you have terrible cravings, emotional eating, so on and so forth, plant-based diet ain't gonna save you. It's not, because you are not going to channel the consistency required to actually stick with this week in, week out, watch that scale consistently drop, and also, very importantly, have the internal transformation that's required to make this permanent this time. You might lose 10 pounds here and there. You'll have those really good stints. Oh, July last year, everyone's got a stint they can refer back to in their mind in the last 18 months where their diet was pretty on point, they lost a bit of weight. Yeah, I did pretty well back then. I'm talking about lifelong lasting results. That's what we're interested in here. My program is called Vegan Slim and Sustain. It's not just a slim vegan program. It's not just a weight loss program. I want to show my clients how to do this for life. And the number one barrier that I see as to why people that have all the information on plant-based diets can't actually sustain weight loss is because they continuously use food as a coping mechanism, as an emotional tool to soothe, to stuff, to distract from other problems in their life. Ironically, that usually have nothing to do with losing weight, nothing to do with their health, nothing to do with food, work problems, problems in their personal lives, procrastination, boredom that they are not facing head on, that they are in denial of. Perhaps not even in denial of it, perhaps just choosing willfully to ignore the problems that they know deep down in their gut that they need to fix. Food as a coping mechanism. Let me ask you this then on this note, because I'm going off track, as I always do, ranting away here. Here's my question to you. Is your first impulse when you are bored, stressed, feeling lonely, angst, is your first impulse to go and open the fridge? If so, you could well be using food as a coping mechanism. And why is this a problem? Well, this is not only a problem on the scale. You can imagine, well, it's going to likely lead to overeating, right? And certainly not on good foods in most cases. The other problem is you never address the root cause of the problem in another area of your life, the internal thing that you haven't dealt with, that you're now choosing food to try and help you heal. Well, you don't actually address that either. Right? And this leads to the emotional eating cycle model that I've talked about so many times here that I go on to my clients about all day long. Step one, let's walk through this very, very quickly. I'm going to somehow put a graphic on the screen as I talk here. Step one, something causes you to be emotionally triggered. So the feeling that causes you the negativity rather, the discomfort. Step two, you then feel an overwhelming urge to eat because that's a behavior that you've trained in the past. Your brain, whether consciously or not, is going back to the last time that you felt or previous recollections of your experience of that particular feeling, and it's associating, oh, I had a Kit Kat chunky, I had Ben & Jerry's ice cream last time I did that. So step two is you feel an overwhelming urge to eat. Step three is you then engage that craving and you eat something unhealthy, or perhaps it is something healthy, but usually not, and or way more than you should. This then, of course, feeds into step four. For most people, immediately after they've eaten that thing that they know they shouldn't have really eaten, they, of course, feel guilty. And this then subcommunicates to themselves. This is where the real danger happens. You then subcommunicate to yourself that you're the person that's weak around food. You're the emotional eater. You're the person that does this every time they're stressed or bored or lonely. You turn to food. You feed that back into yourself, and it's incredibly disempowering. You are just signaling to yourself your own weakness. So what happens again when you come right back round full circle to step one? What happens the next time you feel triggered? That pattern of behavior is so ingrained in yourself and you feel so helpless and powerless to it because you've witnessed again and again and again your own weakness, your own addiction to food. You can't even deny it anymore. What happens the next time you get triggered? You're eating again through this cycle. It compounds like a snowball, and then it becomes totally mindless. It's automated. It's habitual, and every time you feel stressed, bored, any negative emotion, argument with your boss, argument with your loved one, spouse, whatever, bored on a Friday night, unfulfilled, straight in that fridge, mindless, automated. This is how people ruin even the best meal plan in the world. People can have the best meal plan in the world. If they can't stay consistent because of these emotional eating problems, it doesn't matter. So that's my question to you. If you are nodding your head watching this, you are using food as a coping mechanism, and there's no rainbows and snowflakes. There's no new age 2023 hippie self-help nonsense. Lovely, you're fine the way you are. None of that. None of that is going to mask this. This is going to follow you around for the rest of your life until you tackle this head on. Today is the day. The more you repeat this cycle, back to my notes here because I've just gone on a good old rant. The more you repeat this cycle, I think I've already mentioned this, the more you treat food, you signal to your brain that food is the viable option to cope with negative feelings. The more and more, therefore, you become powerless to this in time. Realize now that it's not the emotional upset that's the problem. It's not the feeling. Right? Feelings are normal. They're just a chemical release in the body. It's your body saying, we need to do something different here. You're not guiding your life in the way you want. Emotions are there to guide us, but they can be really uncomfortable. I get this. They can be overwhelming. I'm maybe talking about it simplistically. I'm not here to tell you to shut your emotions off and be cold-hearted. That would be incredibly unrealistic. I'm here to normalize your feeling of emotions and cut off the association in your mind that is telling you to eat as a response to them. Be stressed, be bored, let your body feel it so it can guide you on what to do next. Don't just distract yourself from the feeling that's telling you what to do with your life by stuffing food down your throat. It's not appropriate whatsoever. You're going to learn nothing. You are not going to grow from that feeling, from that experience. And again, you quickly develop a way of coping and masking the feeling that is telling you to do something different by using food or perhaps other vices to cover this. We're going and going here. So yeah, the emotional distress itself, point being, the emotional distress itself, in summary, is not the thing that's harming your health. It's the actions you justify to actually cope with that distress, to cope with those negative feelings that can help you back from health and weight loss success. Here's the good news. This might sound difficult, and you might be nodding your head watching this and like, yeah, Ryan, you're touching on all the right points here. This resonates with me, but what am I going to do about this? Here's the good news. Saying no is really powerful. The more you don't give in to using food to cope the next time you feel stressed, bored, whatever it is, the easier it is to continue saying no, the easier it becomes rather to continue saying no. So remember when I talked about the emotional eating cycle 5 minutes back, and how the point being, or one of the points I was making, is the more you go through this cycle, the more it becomes inevitable, the more you say yes to those cravings, the more you signal to your brain that you can continue to say yes, and you build this very inevitable script and pattern of behavior for yourself. The good news is that no interrupts that pattern and allows you to form a new pattern of behavior in the same but the opposite way, if that makes sense. You have to get good at saying no instead of saying yes. You feel the trigger, you feel the negative emotion, but you say to yourself, not today, not this time, I'm not doing it. And don't get me wrong, the first 3, 4, 5, 10 times that you say no, it's going to be the worst moment of your life. It's going to be the worst 20 minutes of your life. Your brain's like, ice cream, I always eat ice cream right now. Cake, I always have cake right now. You're going to continue to say no. It's going to be tough. It's going to feel like withdrawal. It's going to be really, really hard. But I promise you, it gets easier. The more your brain recognizes that, okay, today Ryan isn't going to give me Pop-Tarts just because I'm sad, the more that's going to create a new story and a new script for yourself. The more those old associations, those old neural pathways and the synapses that guide the data being sent around your brain, the more that they are going to disconnect. That's very pseudoscientific. The more they're going to disconnect, the more you're going to break those old patterns, those old associations. They might still feel familiar. They might still be there. This will not be foolproof. You'll be down the line in 6 months, and you might, even if you do well with this, you might still want to go back to the bad food when you're next stressed. But I promise you, hand on heart, I mean every word of what I'm saying here, I promise you here, if you keep saying no, the process gets easier. Break that emotional eating cycle. Create a cycle of no's. Create that snowball effect in the opposite way and show your brain that food is not an appropriate response to difficulty in your life. And you will cure yourself of using food as a coping mechanism. Write this down. Write this down. If you've taken notes on nothing here, please write this down. External things can't fix internal problems. Whether it's comfort food, whether it's, I need a nice new car, I need a nice new watch, a new phone, something materialistic. I need a girlfriend now. None of this is going to fix what's going on in here. You don't need a little 29-year-old whippersnapper. Most people that watch my channel, they're older and infinitely wiser than I am. You don't need a little whippersnapper like me to tell you that. But sometimes I have to tell you this stuff as a reminder. I hope this helps. As always, folks, if you want more from me, if you want my one-on-one support with your weight loss journey on the mental and emotional side of things, but also helping you design a meal plan and an exercise strategy that leads to a 15 to 25 pound weight loss in the next 12 weeks and building some sustainable habits that you can actually keep for the rest of your life, not just weight loss for Christmas, for the rest of your life, click the link below or go to veganslimandsustain.com to learn more about my program there. Talk to you soon.